everybody, this is Costa from Chemical Stone Restoration. Today we are going to talk about terrazzo floors and its refinishing process. The house is retro style, and it was very common in those days to do terrazzo throughout the whole house. And you know, once in a while we come close to those kind of terrazzo floors, which is quite exciting. And this is an opportunity to kind of describe the whole process. This terrazzo never been refinished with diamonds. It was refinished with a very traditional process when terrazzo gets installed, and then it gets grinded by diamond pad, but probably a couple steps up to 200 grit. At that point the floor is not shiny at all, and it gets treated by wax. And then what we're trying to do is to make sure the gloss and sheen would be represented by the wax. Nowadays, and what Pinnacle does, it makes sure that the diamond polishing process is involved, and the sheen and gloss comes with mechanical polishing process, and that makes terrazzo look like marble, like glass. And that's a goal in this situation. So this particular terrazzo we discovered in existing condition, where it was pretty much washed. What I mean by washed terrazzo is that when aggregate stays high, and then the matrix, what combines the marble chips, is washed away, and then basically gives you appearance of alligator skin. We can use different type of terminology, but alligator skin will be probably the right way to describe the condition of this particular terrazzo. So of course the goal is to level terrazzo, to shave it down and making everything flat. So we want the matrix and we want aggregates to be together. Just did a couple steps of diamond cuts. As you see here, everything is flat, aggregate and matrix. And so, you know, in this terrazzo, generally in traditional terrazzo floors, 80% or so 70% is aggregate and 30% is a matrix. In this situation, in this particular floor, we have a cement-based terrazzo, so of course cement is 30% and marble chip represents 70%. As you see here, it's hard to see it, but each aggregate is sitting higher than the matrix itself. So after 2 cuts of diamond, we achieved a very flat floor. On the next steps, we are going to continue honing and refinishing terrazzo. Let's talk about terrazzo. We have, as I said, 70% marble chips and 30% is matrix, like cement, Portland cement. But marble chips generally will be, very hard, right? The marble by Mohs scale, if you want to measure the hardness, by Mohs scale, if marble stands, probably we're talking about 5, 6, 7, again, depends on particular marble. But matrix, on the other hand, which is Portland, it will not be as hard as the marble. So our goal is to make sure that matrix will gain some hardness. And in this situation, we have 2 ways to do it. First way will be to grout the floor with epoxy material. This particular matrix Portland cement has absorption level high because over time it's almost kind of over baked. And and there's a lot of air packets inside. So what we want to do, we want to take the resin epoxy and inject into the matrix and make sure it penetrates deep enough to make it harder. And next step will be also to densify the terrazzo with a hardening agent. So as I said, beside the diamond honing process, this terrazzo will involve the hardening, grouting and densifying processes, and then you will see as we achieve those steps. One more thing we were going to talk about is strips. A traditional terrazzo, when it gets installed, they make sure that there's some strips are laid down and each segment gets pulled. So this particular terrazzo has a brass strips. They're 1/16. But over time, what happened in terrazzo and house moves and the shifts, and terrazzo segments got separated. And right now we have probably 1/8 gap from one segment of terrazzo to another. So I want to show you exactly what I mean by that. Here we have separation. As you see, brass strip, another one segment, another segment, and we got about 1/8 gap. So what we're going to do, we are going to inject epoxy material into it and reinforce that particular joint. It will make terrazzo, of course, look visually great, and also it's gonna make it structurally strong. And that's important for this particular terrazzo, because it doesn't matter how good job we do about diamond housing, we still have to do structural repairs to make sure terrazzo is structurally strong and solid. This is Costa from Pinnacle Stone Restoration. This is second day as we are refinishing cement-based terrazzo floor. Before we left yesterday, we had to grout the floor. I mentioned that it's very important to grout the cement-based terrazzo, especially the matrix was weak. It had a lot of air pockets. So what we had to do, we had to take the resin, epoxy resin, the appropriate resin for terrazzo floors, and we had to grout it or inject it very tightly into the pores of the terrazzo, and especially into the matrix. So after 14 hours of curing process, it's all dried now, and what we are doing at this moment, we are removing the excess material. So what we're doing, whatever it's on top of the surface, it has to be removed. Whatever went into the terrazzo, or whatever was injected into the terrazzo, it will stay into the terrazzo, and it will make it much stronger, much durable, and much smoother. So at this point, I want to show you, as you see, nothing looks like it's finished product. There's no indication of anything good is happening, but in fact, a lot of good stuff is happening right now. As you see, this all represents the resin, cured resin. We use marble dust to help the removal process, because that helps the diamonds to stay sharp and not to get glazed. And also the marble dust helps to fill the air pockets as well. So after this resin grouting material is removed, terrazzo is ready to be honed with higher grit resin bond diamond sets. At this point we are at 200 grit, and after removal of the grout we are going to continue with 400 grit, but before that it has to be densified with a hardening agent. This also will help terrazzo get much stronger, much harder, and this is like basically the important part of the cement-based terrazzo refinishing, is grouting and also hardening process. So we'll get back to you with the honing process as we progress.